Thank you very much. So we welcome everyone. We've got David Rounsevelle, who's the Managing Director of Australia and New Zealand for ERA. Yep. Thanks for coming along, David.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Firstly, you've got a bit of news about ERA that we want to announce to the market. It is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
That we'd love to almost say be first cab off the rank to tell everyone about transactions that has just occurred.
Yeah. So after 33 years, our founder has decided to move on, and so whilst he'll still keep some involvement with the business, he's sold it to private equity, a company by the name of Horizon.
Great. That's fantastic news. I mean, how long has that been in the pipeline for?
Probably intensely for the last year.
Yeah. And it's a complete, it can be a shock to the system in terms of the amount of due diligence, the amount of work being going. But was this done quite quietly?
No, we actually made it quite public. So all the franchisees knew that we were going through a transaction, and so it was really kept in the open right from the start. So when Fred started the business, he treated it like a family, and so I think he wanted to keep that right through to the end, where he really made it quite public on what his intentions were with the business.
Yeah, and how does it affect the franchisees?
I don't think today in any way. In the future, what I think it will mean is that we're probably going to make their life easier. So I think the investment will be into technology, into marketing, and that is probably going to make a big difference to the franchisees on how they are able to work day to day.
Yeah, sure. And is there a bit of a because it's a UK initial company that's expanded globally.
Yeah, so
is this changing your regional focus, or does that stay the same?
So it's interesting because the business started in Australia and head office was Australia until 2007.
Yeah.
But as the business grew globally, and we're now in 60 countries, it became very hard to run a business from Australia.
Yeah.
And so having been born in the UK, Fred moved it back to the UK, and so for the last 18 years we've been a UK-based company, but it'll stay that way because Horizon are also a UK-based company.
Yeah, sure thing. And does that mean there's any form of added infrastructure or acquisition that's going on, and right now it's business as usual?
Right now, business as usual. So we're really, I think, just waiting to hear what the next steps are going to be, but we know straight away the first thing they did was organise a technology committee so that we could actually get the investment into technology straight away.
Yeah, sure thing. And I guess you're happy with the valuation?
Yeah, look, I think that they did very well. The business, I think, has been Fred's life, and all of us that join never leave. There's been an enormous amount of loyalty to the business, so we've seen it grow over the years and have its growing pains and successes, and I think it was a very good result.
And how big is the ERA network now?
So we're about 1,000 franchisees, about 1,200 people, over 60 countries.
Right. And what do you think the PE firm saw in it?
I think they saw an opportunity to grow it. And so whilst we're a reasonable size now, I think our market penetration is still very, very small. And I think they saw that we have a niche where we are probably the only company that are really truly focused on cost optimisation for large corporates, and they saw that it can just grow exponentially from here.
Yeah, that was probably going to be my question, is for people that don't know about ERA, just explain a little bit about the business.
Yeah, so we started out as really an SME type service. Over the years, we've really grown to being a large corporate service, and so we'll go into a business, have a look at what they spend. So we'll take a general ledger or a trial balance and actually mine our way through that and go back to them with an opportunity assessment that says, this is where we think there is opportunity for us to improve what you do today. And that improvement can be through different product, different suppliers, it can be through process change. We'll actually just have a look at how that is going to work for them and drive down costs by really having a focus on a category by category basis. So we've done some where we're doing 25 different categories and probably 15 or 20 people working in there at the same time because all our franchisees work together.
And what got you into this?
So I've been in the business now for 24 years. I was in the office supplies industry for a decade, and it was a great time to be in that industry. It changed from a mum and dad corner shop to global businesses that we have today. But I saw ERA from the supply side, and it was quite a new business when I first saw it, but I loved the concept of it. So I always had it in the back of my mind that that is something that I wouldn't mind doing one day. And then on one of the takeovers, I decided that was it for me in the office products industry, and I came over and joined ERA.
Big difference from one to the other?
Yeah, it is, because one of the things that one of the problems you have in the office products industry is that, and probably there's a lot of industries like it, where you're not able to be aligned with your client. And so what actually happens is right from day one, you'll be increasing your margin. And so I always felt like, yep, I've won the business, now the battle's on for me to get the margin up and for them to keep it down. When I came across to ERA, I have the same outlook as my clients, where we both want to make sure that we manage the cost.
And so you're dealing with, look, as a business owner as well, if costs go down, you're happy.
Yeah.
If costs go down, or revenue goes up.
Yeah.
One or the other, you're happy.
Yep.
So internally, like, you're dealing with generally people who stick it out with you.
Yep.
Or are they long-term clients that are coming in?
So most of our clients generally have about 3 years with us, and we actually have this model which is very different, where we sack ourselves.
Yeah.
So we say, no, we've actually done our job, we've done it well, you've got the results, we'll move on. Sometimes they'll then say to us, but we don't have the skill levels in these areas. So we've got clients where we've been managing costs for 13, 15 years, and they just don't let us go. Whereas some others will go, thanks, you fixed it, we'll let you know how we go in another 2 or 3 years. And so it will vary on how people want to use us.
Yeah, sure thing. And are you born and bred in Australia, or where?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm fifth generation South Australian. So
Okay.
Same here.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole family is from South Australia.
Okay.
I've
Oh, wow.
actually gone through and done the ancestry and tracked all the records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So very much founders.
Yeah.
1838, my family moved to SA, and they had quite a lot of successful businesses in those days. So yeah,
And still there.
yeah, and we're still there. So even my kids are still there. So yeah.
Okay, got it. But are you, because you're going to get exposure to so many geographies and regions, are you seeing this as just like a universal trend with business owners that are taking up this service?
Yeah, so it's surprising. I thought when we moved into Eastern Europe, for example, we would find it's not going to work there, but it still worked there. So countries like Romania, and then we did South America, and now we've just started Asia. And so I think what happens at the beginning is it's a new concept. So in Asia at the moment it's a new concept, but it'll gradually get taken up and then grow again from there. So we've got franchisees in countries like Romania that are doing incredibly well. They would be earning 100 times the average wage in that country.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so where we thought it might be difficult for them to earn a lot in a country like that, it's actually the other way around.
Yeah.
They can earn a massive amount.
Is there any countries that you still want to go to that you guys haven't managed to go to?
So we're gradually rolling out Africa at the moment. So we've got Eastern Africa and South Africa, but we are starting to run out of countries.
Fair, 60 is a lot.
Yeah,
So it's just in Africa now?
yeah. So Africa, South America, North America, East and Western Europe,
And New Zealand?
and New Zealand, and New Zealand for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been in New Zealand since the early '90s.
Yeah.
And New Zealand's a great market for us.
Yeah. And Singapore, was that recent, or you've been there for a long time?
Singapore is quite recent. So Singapore, all of Southeast Asia and Japan is the last 2 years.
Got it. And can you tell us a bit, how's this model evolved? Is it literally the same model as it was before, or you've continuously evolved this?
It is very similar to what it started as in we will go in and show you how to reduce your costs and we'll share the savings with you. And if we can't find any way to save you money, then there's no charge.
Yeah.
And we've kept that model since day one, and it's very successful. I guess people don't appreciate the no saving, no fee model until they actually get it.
Yeah.
And then we go back and tell them how good they're doing, show them all our numbers and all the workings and tell them all the reasons why. And then, by the way, there's no charge for that.
Yeah.
That's when they suddenly realise, this is actually a pretty good offer. And then they want to give us a lot more.
Because it's interesting, like, intuitively you think, people will be across their costs, they'll know it. But as these businesses get larger or the owners get distracted, you can take your eye off it.
Yeah.
As well, but also just the methodical way you go and do it. Because there have been times I've been running them and suddenly you've had like 10 subscriptions that you're just running along with that just have been running for no reason.
Yeah.
And then no one's actually gone and turned these off unless you go and get the company to go and look at it.
Yep.
And on the other side, it could be, certain administrative things, but what sort of the cost buckets you go in and look at?
So we're generally looking at their indirect costs. There's about 40 different categories that we look at on a regular basis, and that will always be, so our top one at the moment is freight. After COVID, everyone's freight bill blew out, so everyone wants us to look at freight. Yeah. And so that's our number one, but things like insurances. I think people have seen their insurance bills go up, but they don't really know if they're covered. And we find lots of problems in that category where the covers are not actually suitable. And so we clean it all up in the first place and then find ways to actually bring the cost down as well. Yeah.
Okay, sure. And are there any ones that always come out that you think people don't keep on?
Yeah. We'll always get a saving on freight, for example. Always get a saving on telecoms, office supplies.
Yeah.
Those just never fail.
Yeah.
And it's really because the companies are so good at managing their margin and keeping their margin up that we can always get a saving.
Yeah. Got it. And anyone in particular, it'll be a pretty diverse set of people that are doing this.
Very.
So it's not any particular behavioural traits or backgrounds
I think people see what we do and they think, we must all be accountants.
Yeah.
But in Australia, we've only got 2 people with an accounting background.
Yeah.
We've got people that have come from, the insurance industry. We've got people that have come from telecom industry. I came out of office supplies. Everyone has come from a different industry, usually with a management background.
Yeah.
And so they have what I call boardroom presence. When they go in, they can actually do the project, but also show the confidence in why you should make the changes.
Yeah, common denominator.
And do you train them up on that, or they are?
Yeah, so we do a lot of training. So we have our initial training. We're running one here in Melbourne at the moment, and so that is pretty much 3 weeks full time. But then once they complete, they then have a mentor who is one of the existing franchisees that's very successful, becomes a mentor, and they work with them to get them to a point where they are successful. And I'm always on the ground to help as well.
Yeah, sure thing. But is it also, given their backgrounds, they can just naturally do this? And
Yes.
that's part of your selection process?
Yeah, people actually self-select.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we get a lot of people that just have a look at it and suddenly they go, this is my passion. And others will go, I prefer to be on the revenue growth side. Okay, that's fine. Probably not suitable for us.
Yeah. But is it, is there still any sort of behavioural trait? Like, for example, we'll do like fairly sophisticated campaigns. In certain sectors, it'll be people who are interested in team sports, or people who have a background in group or charity, or people who have a background in. But is there anything you're finding is binding? Because you're not getting your crazy entrepreneur coming to trying to change your system. They need to be able to follow something, but also act like a business owner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's actually a really interesting question because I haven't thought about it all that much. But if you look at the traits of our people, they are people that like helping others.
Yeah.
And so they'll end up with a role where they are always wanting to help people. If we're doing work for a not-for-profit, everyone wants to know how that work is going.
Yeah.
We did some work for one of the guide dogs associations once, and they told us every time you save $100,000, we train another dog.
Yeah.
Well, everyone was targeting the $100,000 each time to see how many more dogs we could get trained for them. And I think that the team is what I would call collegiate. Everybody likes working together, and unlike most franchises, our people actually do have to work together. So we might have 10 franchisees working in one company at the same time. They all get along very, very well and help each other.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about the model, and someone doesn't have to do everything themselves. They can share it around, and it's a network effect. And even if the people aren't here, they might be somewhere else.
Yes, yeah, and that model has proven to be very beneficial because the more franchisees we get, the higher the average earnings go. Because everybody is feeding everybody else, and the more people you have, the more work you have on, and it just seems to grow. And so what we've found over the years is that the bigger the team, the higher the average earnings for the team.
Yeah, okay. And from your background, do you think there's anything that specifically guided you into this? Like, or lay that pathway for you to go to this? Is it?
Yeah.
I understand you come from the office supply background.
Yeah.
But anything else that you think drove you to do this, or is it just a series of things building on each other that got to this?
I think having worked in office supplies, being a very low margin business, where you're trying to make 5% return on your sales to your bottom line, and you're usually sitting at 2 or 3 and trying to get to 5. You end up with this culture of always looking at cost, always trying to drive down cost. And I think that's why I saw this as being attractive, because in a business, you've got limited numbers of people with limited skills. Bringing in a team of experts, you can actually make an immediate difference and a significant difference as well. So even now, we look at businesses that do work on fine margins. The level of savings we get for them are nowhere near those that have big fat margins.
Yeah.
We worked with one client. Their name is Spend Less Shoes. And when we went in there, they had signs on the wall.
Spendless what, sorry?
Spend Less Shoes.
You would have seen them like in the
Okay,
markets
okay,
and stuff. Yeah.
And when we went in there, they had signs on the wall, cost is the enemy.
Yeah.
We knew we were not going to save them as much as someone else.
Yeah.
And so their whole culture was drive costs down. And so, we still made them savings, but not significant.
What's the biggest saving you've made someone?
We recently did a cleaning project and we saved $3 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And one of the other things that people don't expect is that when we do our initial analysis and we have a look at what they have been doing, we'll often find credits for them where they've been overcharged previously. And so last year that was $1 million in overcharges that we picked up in the initial stage. The largest one we've ever found was $880,000
Wow.
of overcharges on an electricity bill that went back 7 years.
$800,000 on an electricity bill.
Yeah. Yep. There was a mistake 7 years earlier. No one picked it up. It kept being charged for the next 7 years. And so by the time we went in and fixed it, it was up to $880,000 and we got the credit for them.
Wow.
It just proves like the complete value of like having like ERA come in and look at things. People don't think to look. They just keep going and going and going, like you were saying before with subscriptions.
Yeah.
And it's someone else comes in, or sometimes if you're in the business, you're a bit blinded to it. You're like, oh, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And you need that external party to come in and be like, actually.
Yep. And the benefit of expertise, even on that electricity one, our guy picked up the invoice and looked at one invoice and said, something's wrong here.
Wow.
He could tell immediately that there was a problem, and he had to go and find out what the solution was going to be. And as he started digging, he kept saying, there's still something wrong. And he kept going back year after year after year until he found the error.
7 years worth.
And yeah, so significant amounts of money come back. Freight, we found a $100,000 credit last year. There's a lot of money out there that is being overpaid. And if you have a look at some of the companies' accounts, like City Power here in Victoria, I think they put aside about $10 million a year for credits to come back. Yeah.
And any industries that are major culprits, or?
Yeah, there is. So it's usually telco, electricity are the big two that tend to get their billing wrong.
Yeah. And on the other side, any of your segmentations of clients that you could diplomatically say always mess up.
So for us, the main areas that we've been working in recent times are the not-for-profit industry, who just don't have the staff to do it. They're always trying to run on the smell of an oily rag.
Yeah.
And they just can't do it. But we do a lot in healthcare, particularly aged care.
Yep.
Again, where they don't have the resources to look at things, and even if they do, they don't have any expertise, so they don't know what they're looking at. Then education is another one that's very strong for us, but also private equity companies. So they want to go in and make all the changes, but they don't want to touch the bottom end because it's just too much work for them.
Yeah.
And so they'll bring us in and get us to fix it for them.
Yeah. And when the private equity company engages you, is that for across their portfolios or certain cohorts that they have?
Usually once we get in with one and we do one of their companies, we'll get the rest.
Yeah.
Because they see it and then go, oh, well, we'll get you to look at this one and this one and this one.
Yeah.
Because they know that we're going to strip cost out that they can't.
And the company pays you, or the private equity firm?
It gets paid by the company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you will get recommended by the PE firm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, and with some of them, they'll actually have people working in the company. And so we have meetings with the private equity guys, the people that are running the business, and ourselves, looking for how we're going to drive that cost out. They're very focused.
And that includes with startups and companies like that?
Yeah. So what we usually say is if you're spending $100,000 on a category, it's going to be worth us having a look.
Yeah.
If it's much below that, what we usually find is that even if we can get savings, the work to actually get them doesn't cover the return for either party.
Yeah. So is that a general staple you have? It's got to be $100,000 to be worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it. So that means for really small startup companies and things like that, it's not right. You'll have to have at least
they've got to grow
quantum
a bit.
there.
They've got to grow a bit.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And who do you then deploy in the team? Because you mentioned it's a network of people working together. Who gets deployed to get this done?
Yeah, so most of the people will have a speciality that they just do one particular category.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we'll have, we've got 2 people that do insurance, we've got 3 people that do telco. And usually the franchisee that is looking after the client will actually pick who they're going to use out of the team, because they have the ones that they've worked with before, they're more comfortable with, and they know that they can work together. And so they get to choose who that will be. But there's often a lot of orphan projects where it's not immediately obvious who to use, and so they'll come and talk to me about who we're going to use, and I do a lot of directing of traffic, so new people coming on get an early opportunity to start working in the group.
And do you ever not worried, or are you enthused by the AI developments going on right now? How are you planning to start using this, or is there any displacement going to be occurring here in some of your costs or in some of your model?
I think it might speed up what we do. So where we do a lot of analysis. I don't think we're going to walk away from having a look at the numbers, but actually how we get to them is where we'll get the improvement.
Yeah.
And so that's where we'll start using AI and other technologies just to keep speeding things up.
Yeah. Because you can understand, like, the way that's developing, the speed at which you can get to the, you know, the anomalies and the costs and what the instigation points of that cost could be.
Yeah.
But then also you're still going to need someone to implement and integrate this
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah. It's not going to tell you that you've paid too much on your electricity bill.
Yeah.
It's still going to take a human to work out where that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And if we're looking at logistics, it can't take away some of that human element, but it can manage the data. And I think that's where we'll build more systems that we're using to speed up the heavy lifting on the data.
Yeah.
But the human side of it probably won't change a lot.
Yeah. You think it won't change?
Not a lot. No, I think the ability for people to so many of the solutions we find are really from people looking at it and saying there is a better way, and then working that through.
Yeah.
I don't think AI is going to have that ability, certainly not in the near term, to take that away.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Like I'm open to either way on this one. Because there's just the ability
It's
for
amazing.
it's amazing that it can go. Don't get me wrong. The way you're going to be able to utilize that in your service
Yep.
could completely change what you're doing for the good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I also think it's just so hard to assess the application as well, because you'll even see, we've been researching like AI tools that can set up a 1 to 3 month project where they're interacting with each other as agents as well. So the ability to start breaking down financials and interpreting that is going to be a game changer as well. So
I think the biggest thing in that space is still like with a lot of AI, if you put stuff in, it's learning and it's like data security.
Yeah.
So that's probably still the biggest thing about needing humans.
That's the biggest thing. Like you can't just get someone's financials and put them in ChatGPT. It's all the security of this. So the application probably still isn't there yet, but it's looking forward to where that'll get to.
Yeah. And we have specifically asked people not to put our information into ChatGPT because they'll use it for whatever they want to use it for. So we also need to make sure we've got a lot more security around AI because it's going to be very easy to lose control.
Yeah.
And educating people about it a lot, because some people don't know about the data security and everything. They're only like, you can't just go and put that information in, like. Yeah.
And even the ability to block that from occurring, like no matter how much you're telling people, there are people who are just going to do it, right? So there's got to be a way, and that's in a secure manner to actually do this. It's not, we haven't found a one that's hit it just as yet, but I think that's coming soon.
Yeah.
That's really good. And in terms of your team that you've got there, it's a pretty diverse set. I don't mean their career backgrounds. Like in terms of their demographic mix. Because you're coming from a specific background. We interact with a lot of people who are particularly looking at ERA businesses. So they're very diverse.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. It seems to attract a very wide range of people. We would certainly like to attract more women into the business. Because the women that we have in the business are always in the top 5% of earners.
Okay, really?
It's remarkable. They're very, very successful. I don't know. I really don't know why it is. But I think it's their focus is very, very good, but also their relationship building. We've got quite a few women globally who just are outstanding performers.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't think this is a business that they look at and go, oh, I'd like to get into cost reduction.
I wonder why though. I'm just not sure the reasoning behind it. But I guess it could be just a traditional thing of more and more people being in business and accounting. Because I've also seen that same thing as well. Like in terms of like the volume of women in like M&A or deal making or things is quite low. But the ones that do it tend to be superstars, even in business broking. as well. So
yeah, that'd be the same.
yeah,
Yeah, and they're superstars.
yeah,
Yeah. The advantage that I've seen for women in our business is the balance that they get in their life. And so we have Ruth in Perth who has been with us for over 20 years and started when her children were at school. And it was a great way for her to be able to balance being a single mother and have a job and be able to pick kids up from school. And then she went to the next stage where suddenly she wasn't working Fridays because she was looking after one of her young grandchildren, through to now her grandchildren are growing up and she's really worked whatever hours that she needed. And Anna Maria, who's in Brisbane, much the same. Can't get her before 9:30 in the morning because she's doing kid stuff. Can't get her after 3, but you'll see an email come in at 11 o'clock at night because she's catching up on her day, and she works the hours that she wants to work and has a lot more control, but really has the time with the family that they want. And I think being able to find a role where you can balance that is actually really, really hard.
Yeah, it's fantastic to kind of have the work-life balance, and I think we've spoken about before is the earning potential as well.
Yeah.
If you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, so I actually put my team into a box on what they're going to earn or what they do earn. So we've got the group that are very much lifestyle based, tend to have paid off mortgages, don't have kids in education or at home anymore, at that stage of their life where they don't want to stop, but they do want a better lifestyle, and they're earning say 80 to 150,000. And then the next group are younger people that actually want to get a better lifestyle because they're tired of leaving home at 7 in the morning, getting home at 7 at night, never see their kids. And so they're earning 150 to 250, pretty much replacing their corporate salary, but now have a life. And then we've got the 250 to 400s who are tending to work pretty hard. They're putting in a good solid 40, 45 hours a week, but earning great money for it. And then the ones that are over 400, and we've almost cracked $1 million for a franchisee in a year, but they're working hard to do it.
Yeah, because it's hard to say, work-life balance. In a certain way, I don't even believe it exists. There's like a work-life choice that you're able to pick.
Yeah.
And then with Dave's, you've got like cohorts of those choices,
Yeah.
right? Because often your work and life just intertwine, right? And then, especially if you're owning a business.
Yeah.
But I do see what you've put together or you've done is it does actually allow that to occur, to work your hours.
Yeah.
And then it's correlating with outcome.
Yep.
If you wanted to work 60-hour, 80-hour weeks, you could do that, right?
Yep.
But it should then translate to an outcome you're living.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we've had we had one of our guys who was delivering his reports by sat phone from the top of Cape York.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go on a holiday for 3 months, but he just figured, well, I can do the work I have to. Or we've had people working from Europe on holidays, and so they've gone to Europe for a couple of months, but they can still deliver reports back and find time to do a bit of work and still manage their clients.
Yeah. Okay. And how about you? Is yours? Because you're running
My
the show
work-life
essentially.
balance that doesn't exist.
Yeah, because you're always because I know you're always traveling, you're always working.
Yeah.
So it's like what I was saying. It's more like a work life.
So running the franchise. So I started as a franchisee,
Yeah.
and then they asked me to run the business, and it was at a time where I think I needed a bit of a challenge, and so I took on the role. But I went from having 3 months holidays in the year before I took this job on to suddenly working 12-hour days, 5 days a week.
Yeah. But you enjoy it?
Yeah. I've really enjoyed the challenge, and I really like the team that we've got, and we end up with very good friends out of our clients. Once we start working with them for a number of years, that the relationship changes and they become quite good friends.
Yeah. So what's getting you out of bed in the morning? What's driving you to do this?
Yeah, it really is the being able to grow the business. And so a lot of my personal targets are getting the franchisees to the next level. And so we're averaging about 200,000 per franchisee at the moment. I really want to see that get to 250.
Yeah. You mean their take-home income?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what they're actually earning, and so that's the sort of thing that gets me out of bed, is that, and also finding good clients.
Yeah. Yeah. But all of these big sorts of transactions you're seeing, is that something that floats your boat as well, like this PE transaction that just occurred?
Yeah. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
To just have another change. So when I was in the office products industry, in 10 years I was in 7 mergers or acquisitions, either being bought or as the buyer, and it was a lot of fun. It was hard work, but I learnt so much out of it, and it was really on the last one when it was like, yeah, okay, I started in a business that was turning over 6 million and I'm now in one turning over 20 billion. I don't think I want to go the next step, and that's why I stepped out and decided to do this.
Yeah, and yourself, you've got grown-up kids, is it?
Yeah. So I've got 4 kids, 30, 29, 27 and 21.
Yeah.
And they keep me busy as well.
Are they into cost reduction as well? No.
Yeah, got them into the business.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
My daughter should be in the business. She'd do very, very well.
Yeah.
She's 29 and she does a lot of project management, program management on contract for government.
Yeah.
So she would actually fit this job very well.
Yeah.
Runs in the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you see, like, your key, like, because you're Australian background, where do you see the Australian market playing now in this? And also, if you want to layer on APAC as well, because you're also doing ANZ.
Yep. Yeah. So we're right up to ASX top 20 type clients now.
Yeah.
When I started, that was not even on our radar.
Yeah.
We were very much up to 100 million turnover. And so I think the realisation of large companies that they don't have the expertise that they need, even if they've got resources, they're still lacking expertise. And they see we come in with a different set of eyes. And so I mentioned the cleaning project earlier, that we saved $3 million. That's a very large ASX listed company. And they had tendered that every 3 years. But when we came in, we were able to show them that actually they had looked at it completely the wrong way. We were able to make a significant change to the way they managed the project, rather than just the cost that they paid.
Got it. And I guess also, look, there's always this perception that the world's in flux, with economies, tariffs, wars, and that does affect industries. But you've been at it for 30 years, and you would have seen ups and downs in the economies. But are you seeing any big shifts that are happening right now that are affecting this, or is it just BAU? Yeah.
So I get to see what happens with us globally, and I could see how much longer it took Australia to get out of the COVID lockdowns than the rest of the world. Our recovery was much, much slower. People's willingness to buy a franchise just wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so whilst we might have been booming in UK or US or somewhere, Australia was really lagging. I think that has now started to change. The Australian economy, I think at the moment, with the combination of COVID, inflation and everything else, there's been a real issue of what are my costs? I don't actually know what they are. And so if you're a CFO and you're reporting to shareholders, it's a bit scary not knowing where you sit. And I think, we phoned a company one day, and one of our guys phoned, and the guy said, "You're phoning me now, right when my share price is down 25%. I don't know what tariffs mean to my company, and you're bothering me with this." And he said, "Well, isn't it a good time to start looking at what your costs are so that you really have some control?" And he went, okay, come and see me.
Straight to it.
Yeah, and so I think I think the focus at the moment is so hard if you are in a management team to work out what is going to happen next. But we actually bring controls in around everything, so you do know you've got the surety of where your spend is going to be. And because we assist in managing it going forward, it's a very controlled area of their business then that they can't do themselves.
Yeah, got it. Almost done, but just the ability for you to take a step back and give people real advice of where they are. It's almost like a comforting position to be in. I can relate to the story with the CFO who is just trying to figure out what to do in the midst of chaos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can give them some clear direction.
Yeah.
That's numbers-based and outcome-based.
Yep. We'll provide forecasting that they've never seen.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to tell them, where they have peaks and troughs in purchasing in different categories, where there is opportunity to save money, if there is opportunity to invest to save more, and then they can make a decision that's an informed decision on what they do next. And so a lot of what we're doing really gives them peace of mind around those categories. We had one client who said, we love what you do so much that we're actually copying it on our own process so that we can get the same sort of results on our core purchasing as you've brought in on our indirects.
Got it. So where to next for you and ERA?
Yeah, so I guess what we're looking at now is really how we keep expanding into that consulting space. A lot of what we do is very tactical, and probably we'll start moving into things that are perhaps more strategic and tactical, and that sort of growth. Growing the size of the team. I think the opportunity is there for us to become a very large consulting firm and extremely well known, which we aren't at the moment.
All right, brilliant. And what about personally?
Personally, I keep myself very busy. I've got a farm as well.
Oh, wow.
So that takes up my weekends. And
in South Australia?
In South Australia, yeah. So I've got 114 acres that are under drought at the moment. Up until last month, I used to have cows.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
But it's also interesting seeing the challenges of farming, and I really like agriculture, and I'd like to see us do more and more work in ag, because I think that there is an opportunity for everyone to live better, eat better, to actually have a much better diet and clean food. And I think that at the moment there's a lot driving away from that. And personally, that's my passion, is to see, okay, how do we actually do things better?
I'll tell you what, I know we're near the end, but one of the biggest requests we get for investors or buyers on the larger end is related to agriculture, food, especially anything that is aiding that infrastructure that's especially feeding Asia because of the economic growth going on. The other part is what you're talking about in relation to health benefits, and also the infrastructure in place to do that.
Yeah.
Third one is we're finding like with Australia is seen as like this bastion of efficiency in hot parts of the world.
Yep.
Like I'm just referencing India as well. So the amount of requests we're getting to see how can you operate in this way in Australia and at the same time produce what you're producing. I just understand where this emphasis on research and tech and agriculture is probably needing to come up a bit as well.
Yeah. So we've got a franchisee about to join us in Bendigo, and so we'll be working very much in regional Victoria. So looking forward to that.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, anything else there, David, before you want to wrap up? Anything to say to our audience, mainly business owners or franchise owners or potential capital partners that are watching this?
Yeah, the one thing I would say that I've seen over the years is just be open to having a look at what someone can do to help you in your business. We've seen a lot that have a very closed mind, and there was one that I recall. I was talking to this car dealership, and he just said, "We'll just go and sell another car. Not interested." 2 years later, they were broke.
Yeah.
And closed the doors.
Yeah.
And it was a big business. And so I think I think being open to anyone that can come and help, and particularly I love our model, because if we can't save any money, we're not going to charge anything. And if we do, we're going to make sure you're keeping a good chunk of the money and we get paid as well. And so it's a win-win.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, I think that's probably where I think that businesses could do better.
Great. Look, fantastic. Look, thanks so much for that. Look, we're going to have some contact us options for opportunities for ERA, potentially anyone interested. Sorry, potential parties interested from around the world. Essentially, this will go. But we do encourage you to put your name down, and one of the team will be in touch with you, and we'll get your journey commencing with ERA. Apart from that, Dave, great having you on. I think it was very fascinating. And I think I will now go and cut some costs straight away.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah.